Good evening, good morning, and good night. Welcome to Inappropriate Radio. It's your host, Shauna. Let's get into this. So tonight, I am pretty excited about this topic. It's the third type of HIV resistance, and it is called the cytotoxic T lymphocytes. Cytotoxic T lymphocytes. These are a type of white blood cells that are developed from stem cells in bone marrow. They're developed in your thymus. That's a small gland in the front of your chest. Now, what I found about this gland, to be really interesting, is that number one, we don't need this gland to live. It's not necessary to live. It doesn't affect our health or in any kind of way if you don't have it. And also, it shrinks at puberty and it starts to turn into fatty tissue. And it's also related to the suppression of aging effects. That was really interesting to me because when we talk about the development of the body, and everything is always pointing to Black people and how we're stronger and smarter and faster and how we have these stronger immune systems and whatnot. Now, this particular white blood cell is actually, I'm going to say, probably the most interesting. Well, to me it is, because it provides a protective reaction against HIV, but when consistent to exposure. So what that means is you have to constantly keep coming into contact with the virus in order for these cells to not become infected. I know it's really weird. It's present in genital mucus, and this is also what they're saying is these cells are connected to the presence of the immunoglobulin A. These are antibodies that are connected to immune function in mucous membrane. So, this mucous membrane secretion is saliva, tears, sweat, small amounts of blood, epithelial secretions, a whole bunch of other, fluids, if you will. So I started digging, and then I went into immune function. So we know that Black people are said to be, well documented actually as being stronger. So I'm going to say that this accounts for us having a higher antibody response and just overall stronger immune system. So what I really thought was crazy is that these particular cells, they are connected to this membrane, right? And you have to keep coming into contact with the virus in order for them to keep you from becoming infected, in order for the virus to not replicate itself. I started thinking about passing the torch and warfare and karma, right? Because that's basically what all of this is about, us cleaning up the bloodline or enhancing it. Either way, it's cleaning it up, right? Something went wrong and we have to make it better, or we just want to overall make it better to make it stronger. So I always want to pose this question, what connects us to our ancestors, right? Our genes, our DNA, right? Our genetic code, the link, right? The DNA, this is what connects us to our ancestors. So doesn't this sound like karma? Either you have karma and you're can't go backwards and not really sure how to go forward, right? Or your ancestors is fighting on your behalf pretty much keeping you from becoming infected and succumbing to ultimately a deletion of the bloodline or a mutation. So this started getting me to thinking, like, is this where the mutation comes in? Like, is this where the resistance is built, or is this how the genetic sequence actually is weakened, ultimately? So that's gonna be like our next topic. I'm gonna look into that because we're almost done with the HIV series, but we have like a few more things to go over with this series, and then we're going to be done, and then we're going to be rolling over into the Zodiac series. Right now, oddly enough, which is like so crazy, is that when you're infected, your immune system actually kills off all of almost all of the infected cells. You only need a few of the cells to replicate themselves in order to become infected, and these cells replicate and attack the immune system in 7 stages. Now, if you are a religious person, or if you're a reader of any religious text, then you know the number 7 is really, really important in spirituality and religion. So I don't think that's a coincidence. So yeah, this is like really like crazy. It's mind-boggling. But it also made me think of Mr. and Mrs. Magic Johnson. I was saying, is this why Cookie has remained negative for all of these years? Because what are the odds of having sex with someone for so long, right? Because, I mean, we're talking about 1991, and they didn't have, like, PrEP or, like, antiviral drugs, that could keep you from becoming infected if you were to decide to have, continuous sex with someone who's infected. They didn't have anything to give you, right? If you decided to consciously stay with an infected partner. So what has allowed her to remain negative for all of these years? And if I were to take a wild guess, I would say that this is it, that she has the secretion, because what's going on is that the presence, these particular cells are connected to these secretions that are found in the saliva and the tears and the genital area. That those particular secretions is where the fluids, and that this is where the virus is actually being helped to be fought off, right? So when they look at these cells, they're saying, okay, people that have these cells, they have an increase in immunoglobulin A, right? They have a high amount of these antibodies. And remember, as we phase through this particular series, I'm always going to pose a question. So that question that I pose, that's going to also be the topic. I just wanted to pose that question, when you become infected, right, are you making the genetic sequence weaker, or is this where the mutation or resistance is built in the genetic sequence? Right? That's really, really important, because remember, this virus is a delicate beast, right? And what's crazy is HIV, right? This virus, it integrates into the DNA, and it causes a subset of proviruses to lay dormant until physiological stimuli of all sorts occur. So that's like sex, stress, exercise, diet, sleep, or lack thereof, right? And this remaining matter is referred to as the viral reservoir. Now, think of, let's say, the virus as like a wet towel, right? Or like a washcloth or a mop or something. and then you mop up, but then you wring it out, right? When you wring it out, it's like the little juice that's like left over, and it's just laying around in your body until you get more physiological responses to the immune system in order for, the virus to start acting accordingly and moving around. And of course, as we've been learning, your immune system is going to determine, exactly what is gonna become of your cells. So remember this pool, right? And I just wanted to look up the definition as I was talking about this viral reservoir, because this is probably where you can build up the immunity. Can you possibly build up an immunity for the virus if you come in with physiological stimuli that is good, that is effective to your cells? So, like eating high vibrational food, listening to high vibrational music, sleeping well, drinking water, not stressing, just really living a high vibrational, good quality of life type of ordeal, right? I just wanted to pose that question because if you have, right, the ability to fight off a virus, or if you have these autoimmune responses that allow your body to fight off a virus, right? And then once the body is going to have your cells replicate the virus and pretty much have this subdue, or this residue, if you will, because that's basically what it is. It's like, what's sticking around, like what's left of the virus. This is possibly where the immunity can be built, because once the virus comes into the cells and starts to attack the cells, your cells can possibly fight them off, but all of that remaining virus leads up to, going into the cells to further attack. So again, how does this correlate to spiritual warfare? That sounds like the opportunity to enhance, to me. That sounds like the opportunity to begin starting something new, and that doesn't have to always be in the physical. It can be in the spirit, right? Because a lot of us, when we think about upgrades and enhancements, we think of tangible things. We think of money. We think of a new car, a new body, a new, more money, a bigger house, more jewelry, a better spouse, or a new person to, flaunt around. And we have to remember that we are spiritual beings. We're just here for a limited amount of time, and we have other duties in other dimensions, and we are connected to things outside of ourselves. And most of those things we think we're in control of, and we are not, right? So I'm gonna get ready and go, but I just wanted to say, if you wanted to enhance your cytotoxic T lymphocytes, you can go ahead and consume garlic, vitamin C, and get some sunlight. This pretty much makes me go back to what we've been discussing all along. We all have the duty to do better and make our genetic link stronger. You don't want to be the weak link, because ultimately the spirit world is going to cut you out, right? You don't want to be the sequence that gets cut out. But maybe if you are the sequence that gets cut out, you can be doing something good for the bloodline, making it stronger, making it better. But you don't want to be the one that's cut out and making it better because you're cut out. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, overall, that's my point. But I hope you guys enjoy your Friday. I hope all is well. I love y'all. I am having so much fun doing research for this. And I hope if you are listening, you are doing your own research. And I hope if you're listening, it's helping you piece together some things for your bloodline and causing you to think a little bit more and dig deeper into what it is that I'm saying, because this is not just about HIV. This is about an attack against all bloodlines in the spirit, because remember, demons act out through people and make people misbehave, and sometimes people are just walking portals and they're no longer in control of themselves because they've been possessed. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I wish you all well. I love y'all. I hope y'all are eating good, getting y'all rest, drinking y'all water, eating your fruit, and minding y'all business. And